Hi, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about this space between two ages. I'm not going to get into complex nuances and definitions. I'm going to try to keep this really heartfelt and just what I've experienced throughout my journey transitioning from one particular age, really understanding and living deeply in this kind of age of darkness between these two ages. And then what I've done and the steps I've taken to be able to experience by first initially glimpsing, but then being able to access this new space, this new dimension more frequently. I want to be very clear that there's a lot of nuance in what I'm about to say, and I don't want to make the video long. So I'm going to try to hit on particular aspects of what I'm saying. But if I don't hit the aspect that you're thinking or feeling or believing in and I missed it, I apologize. You can either leave me a comment and help to enlighten me about something that I've missed, or maybe it's just that I don't want to have to literally break down everything that I'm saying into multiple aspects. I'm going to probably break it into two to be as clear as possible. So if you've been alive on the planet, you know that it seems as though life is going to, or the world is going to hell in a handbasket in a way, right? So you may have also heard that we're in a three-dimensional reality transitioning into a fifth-dimensional reality, or three-dimensional reality transitioning to a fourth-dimensional reality. You may have heard that we're already living in a fourth-dimensional Gaia reality. So what the heck is it? To be honest with you, there's many teachers out there who are more skilled than me about breaking down dimensions really specifically on a physics level. It's not that important for this particular video. What is important is how you navigate this shift. And for each and every person, it is very deeply, uniquely individualistic. But there are some significant similar underpinnings of things just to understand, consider, and just a way of hearing this that might make a little more sense. If you have never thought about before the evolution of the planet or the evolution of consciousness, you may feel as though what I'm saying feels very out of reach and in fact seems crazy or doesn't exist. This is where some of the themes coming into play currently are residing, is this aspect of really highlighting the ways in which we're having trouble with Socratic dialogue, that we're biased in particular aspects of our existence, or that we're polarized. Very difficult to see something that you've never seen before. And I just want to stress and highlight that because I've experienced this with many individuals around me. And it's almost as though you can explain in detail a reality, an experience, a perception, and it's just like going over their head. Like their system has not acclimated themselves to even be able to perceive it. It's a very strange witnessing that I've had with certain individuals where it almost seems like it's going over their head and they're completely checked out. Like they just can't quite get it because you haven't experienced it. And there has to be a journey that takes place for you to be open to shifts in your perceptual reality. One of my last videos, I discussed this tension between objective and subjective reality. You can go back and watch that. Again, this is another nuance, tends to be certain demographics and agendas, careers really rely heavily on the objective and completely leave out the subjective. It seems that other aspects of our life value and think that the subjective is the only true thing we've ever had, is a sense of perception about what it is we're experiencing. So this is very nuanced, as I said. I don't want to get too deep. But what I do want to talk about is it appears to be collectively that this is happening. There's a momentum behind this shift that is beyond our control. And this is where I see a lot of people getting stuck and feeling like they're suffering and in a state of victim mentality and taking it to the streets or trying to become an advocate or activist towards making change in the old reality. All right. So let's just use these terms 3D and 5D for now, because it gives you this impression within your mind that we're at a current space. We have to go to another space, but there's this we're missing a bridge between these two spaces, okay, which is kind of where we're currently at. So, what's a mistake, and a common mistake, is that you're gonna not take the necessary steps that you need to start to perceive the new reality. So you're going to start to fight the old, or advocate for the new in the old reality. And it just doesn't exist there yet. It doesn't exist there. You may never be able to bring that reality fully into this reality unless there's some sort of critical mass or something shifts. So my suggestion is that trying to understand and perceive that for you to get to this new state of reality where we feel as though we're more aligned with our heart, with the truth, where every day is not a struggle, every day a school isn't being shut up, every day there's not a war happening or something's going on in the political narrative that's driving everybody crazy. First of all, you have to ask yourself, am I ready to let go of the drama? Am I ready to really look at the ways in which I connect to this drama and this reality as a means for excitement and pleasure? It may seem sadistic or masochistic, right? But some people actually don't realize that they're addicted to the movie and that's all they really know. And there's something deeper that actually is receiving something from it. So you have to be willing to realize that you need to make a choice. You need to make a critical choice of, am I really ready to let go of this chaos to shift into something better? The next few steps are really complicated because you first have to align within yourself. And this is where many of us are getting caught in this moat because we've never really been taught truly how to self authenticate and to become self aware and to heal from particular traumas or circumstances that we've been through. We've been taught to normalize them, stuff we might not even be aware. This is like Carl Jung is the collective unconscious. It's the societal beliefs, the conditioning, the ways in which you create this persona and you're different in different environments. It's become so normalized. It's very difficult to actually think that something exists outside of that. And again, it's mind blowing when you start to get glimpses that something does exist outside of that reality that's much better. And then also what it takes to start to persevere in this journey, in this Joseph Campbell's hero's journey back to your true self. You can't go to the good reality, the healthy reality, if you haven't fully released the things that aren't serving you, embodied the things that you know you want to serve you, and made conscious, deliberate actions and choices to live in that alignment. When I started on my journey, when I started to wake up, I had a very particular circumstance that helped to initiate my personal awakening. And this may be the way it's happening for you. You may be having an ambush awakening from an illness or a loss of a job or a twin flame or whatever catalyst is happening. Maybe you're just fed up with it. Maybe you've had a near-death experience. Whatever your catalytic expression is, you at some point realize that there's something that exists beyond your reality. You don't know how to get there, but you're starting to realize that something is out there. Something's out there, and it's vague and it's hard to see. But you know within your heart that something else is out there and it exists. But then you also start to get the realization that a lot of things in your current reality you've aligned with based off of the personas or the lack of awareness that you've been living in, maybe for your whole life. Again, it's just so normalized to go on autopilot throughout our lives that very often we are just completely unaware of really who we are, really why we're here, really that we can live in a world that's happy and healthy and aligned for ourselves and our neighbors. Again, it seems like it's just a non-reality. Once you start to realize that there is another reality, and you also have that second wave of understanding that, whoa, almost everything in my current reality is now up for question on the table. Do I really love this job? Or do I really, love this person I'm with? Or did I choose the right environment? You're starting to be faced with almost every decision that you've ever made. And It's the ability for you to contemplate, oof, I don't know that this is really aligned with me. And if I continue to align with it, now that I know better, or I'm starting to understand who I really am, starting to come into a sense of self-governance, then you realize there's yet another step. It's, do I pretend this never happened and go back to sleep and go back into my old reality? That becomes very painful at some point. And I know that you know what I'm talking about if you're watching this video. And it seems so overwhelming and daunting because there can be so very many things in your reality that somehow need to just make a shift on the chessboard. And it's good to know that you can start with what's right in front of you first. This is really a shift from overanalyzing, overthinking into utilizing more of a balanced state of your right and left hemisphere of your brain. So there has to be a level of faith and trust that your current environment is actually giving you what you need for your evolutionary process. If you start to overdo and want to know all the ways in which you can do everything easiest, and you want a spreadsheet, and this is not going to work. It's just not going to work in this reality. It just doesn't work. I'm telling you right now, if you're trying to analyze an awakening, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. You have to be in the feelings. You have to permit yourself to be guided, to permit yourself to be in a state of the unknown. You have to have courage to know that you're going to be okay at each step along the way. Now, don't get me wrong. It's very difficult at times, very difficult, very difficult. But in each choice and realization and conscious, deliberate action you take, it seems as though you start to cultivate a true sense of heart-based courage, and your resilience grows. And you realize that, wow, life before this awakening, life in this old reality seemed like something that was an introduction to my real life, right? It's that drastic, it's that different, it's that mind bending and life changing, where it literally feels as though you didn't really exist fully before your awakening. The process is difficult. And to not make this video too long, I just want to talk about this space between that we can get stuck in, this age of darkness, the Shadowlands, which is really collectively where we're at. And why do we call it the Shadowlands? Not because it's just dark and complex, but it's because we can't see. We literally can't see a reality that we've never experienced. So this is an overwhelmingly call and experience of the feminine principle. Is she's guiding you, but you have no idea where the hell you're going. And it feels terrifying and scary because you want to know, you want to have control, you want to feel safe. You don't want to feel like you're in a survival fight or flight mode. And that'll happen if you don't surrender. If you don't really just breathe and let go and just trust you're being divinely guided. You're going to take action when you feel action is necessary. You're going to surrender when you feel surrendering is necessary. And somehow, step by step, breath by breath, you're going to start to make progress. If you get afraid, sometimes it's like we want to cling back onto the old things that made us feel comfortable. And again, this is where we start to diminish aspects of the soul being alive. Because if you keep compromising your soul in that way, you're eventually going to really check out from fully being present in this reality, because you just continue to choose to check out from your soul and align with what you know is not really healthy with you, out of martyrdom, out of a true sense of being afraid, or a sense of not being courageous, not knowing and not having that courage. At some point, if you know that you need to do something for the betterment of your own soul, there may be certain people, places, and things that have to shift. And there may be people that get hurt. It's all part of the process. But what's worse, to be dishonest and be a martyr or be passive when you know deeply within your heart and soul that you're not being honest to yourself? So it's complicated, right? And again, you can look, there's many people who talk about the dimensions and all of this cool stuff. Intellectually, I've been there, I've done it all. But I will say that One thing that I am an expert on in my own journey, and I work with people, is detaching from the ways in which we're tethered to the old reality based off of fears and limiting beliefs and perceptions and conditioning. And right now, more than ever, we need this sense of courage and call to action with our male energy within us, the masculine energy. Yes, a lot of men we're literally seeing this in the world of this passivity in the male collective because the feminine is rising, and a lot of times we don't understand the energies and the man doesn't know what to do because in the past the feminine has been chaotic when she hasn't been integrated within herself. So it's kind of like we're all not quite sure what to do. What I will say to end this video is go for it. Go for it. I've never once regretted making all of the life-changing shifts within my life. It's hard. It's individualistic. You have to follow your own intention, your own calling. You have to be still enough to hear that intuitive faculty coming through you, so you know the best step to take in each moment. And you're gonna mess up. You're gonna wish at times that you've done it a different way, but it's okay. It's a way for you to develop more discernment and to clarify and to refine who you are and where you're going. I think that's all I'll say for today. Courage. Have the courage. Don't be the martyr. Don't be the victim. Don't be the pretender and the trickster and the fool. Stand up. It's time to create that new reality.